Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of British versus American. Today, with some interesting friends from Wales. Kim is back, a crowd favorite, and Connie from... Where are you from?
I don't even know anymore.
England! Today we're going to be talking about healthcare, very hot debate in the UK versus the US, through some fun stories that each of us has. I feel like everyone here has an interesting story.
Yeah, healthcare stories are so fun.
So surface level, everyone already knows that like the NHS is free in the UK versus the US where it costs a lot. A big complaint people have about the NHS when they're American is that, well, you do pay for it, it's not free, it comes out of your taxes, but yeah, we pay taxes. You also pay taxes in the US. It's just that the tax money in the US goes towards defense spending and the president to go on 1,000 golfing trips. Whereas in the UK, it's towards helping people a bit more, and there's more towards NHS infrastructure and
not building walls.
What do you think the average checkup costs for a checkup just to see the doctor in the US?
$150.
I have no idea. I'll just...
Well, okay. Now it doesn't seem that great. The average is $70.
I was going to say what I was going to say, because I know in Ireland it's €60 for a checkup.
Wait, Ireland doesn't have NHS?
Ireland is not in the UK.
I know, but I thought they had like a IHS. I don't know.
No, you can get like discounts, but it's kind of like you pay it and then you get it
Melanie tweeted
back.
about this.
So I was going to go for like 60. I was going to guess. That would have been in the same region.
Wow, today I learned. Interesting. We'll throw Ireland into the mix. Yes, so the average cost of a checkup just to visit a doctor is $70. Now, of course, not everyone's going to pay that because you have insurance or blah, 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 so you only pay copay. My mom was a teacher, so she had really, really good insurance, and we had to pay $10 every time we visited. But still, that's still $10, so I just never wanted to go to the doctor, even if I was ill. In the UK, you can actually dial a number and just talk to someone immediately.
Although I will say, I had tried to dial that the other day. It's not 111 in Wales. We have a different one, which is NHS Direct, and I tried to ring 111 for some advice, and they were like, boop. It was like, I rang it, and it was like, if you're calling from England, press 1.
No Welsh support.
I feel like you still won't go to the doctor because you still have it in your mind.
I do. I didn't go to the doctor, even though I was screaming in pain from the stomach bug. Because I'm so like trained in my head to think doctor costs money. Whenever I'm sick, I just go, oh, I'd rather just die because it's going to cost me a lot of money. But I've been to the doctors a couple times now just to get a checkup, and nothing ever happens. So, but it didn't cost me money. That's great.
That's good. That must be the worst if you go for a checkup and then you find out you're okay and they're like,
nothing wrong.
$70 please. You're like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
People with epilepsy where some of the seizures aren't like super bad, they wear something that says, please don't call an ambulance if I have a seizure, because the cost of an ambulance,
it's really bad.
The cost of an ambulance is so high that they're like, oh, I think some people even with like more serious stuff, because they're like, I don't want to be financially crippled by this, which is horrible.
At this point, I think it's 3 out of every 5 Americans is living paycheck to paycheck and doesn't have $1,000 to spare for some type of incident like that. When I was growing up, my older brother got hit by an ambulance. They were ready to pick him up. No, I'm just kidding. When I was younger, my older brother got hit by a car. And the woman called the ambulance. My mom's like, no, stop, no. And the ambulance had already come. And at that point, they've been ordered. And it costs $1,200 on average in the US.
Hold on.
Just to be picked up by an ambulance.
How much is an ambulance?
$1,200.
Yeah. I read a thing as well.
So that's insane. Like, there's so much money.
Car crash happened, and there were 2 kids in the back, and they took them to the hospital with the injured mum or whatever, and they gave them teddy bears in the ambulance. And at the end, the bill had the cost of the teddy bears. Like, just every single
They ain't free. All right, someone's got to pay for these bears.
I think the theory is meant to be that if you can afford to, you should be able to
get
pay
better
for
healthcare.
better healthcare.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is stupid anyway. But the theory is that, like, you should be able to pay for nicer rooms and shorter wait times and stuff. But it's like they haven't thought through that, like...
They should also have a bottom level for everyone.
Yeah, and you don't choose to be ill, and you shouldn't have to pay to not die, because that's dystopian.
I used to know someone that was incredibly like conservative in healthcare issues, and at one point when I was talking about how I liked the NHS and the free healthcare we had here, he was like, well, why should my family have to pay taxes for sick people? I'm never sick, so why should I have to worry about them? And I was like,
my
you're not sick now.
Brain is like, it's not how my mind works.
I get hit by a car? Well, that's your fault.
But that's kind of what health insurance is as well.
Yes.
It's almost like we're paying our health insurance via our taxes instead of... Because if that American person pays health insurance, they're still paying for people who aren't sick until they're sick. That's how it works.
But also, I saw this thing recently which said that GoFundMe was now the biggest distributor of health insurance in America.
That's
so people are still doing that.
The average cost of health insurance in the US is $321 per person.
Per month?
Per month.
Oh, wow,
which is like a full car and a half payment.
But then how much?
That's your rent every month.
That's like how much I pay
in taxes. It depends on what you make. So if you don't make any, you don't pay anything.
Because I live in Cardiff, and that is more than my month's rent.
Yeah, but that's
So-
every month.
All right, no need to rub it in.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
London.
That's why I can't leave.
So if you're on a ski trip or out doing some crazy thing, you know,
what I
in the
do.
mountains,
Yeah.
and let's just say, or you get in an accident on a hillside or something, and they have to air vac you, that cost actually comes to an average of $12,000 to $20,000. So
Might as well just die.
yeah,
the
like
thing
kill me. The number one reason people go bankrupt most in the U.S. is due to health issues in terms of they couldn't afford
That's
their
so
debts
sad.
from health. Yeah, sadly the way it is. But the NHS isn't the greatest thing.
Yeah, it's got problems.
The issue being, if you go to the NHS with, let's just say, an issue where you've accidentally chopped your toe or finger off and you head into them, you then do have to wait, and it's not as serious as some other serious issues.
Yeah.
So those more serious issues have to be taken first, and then you can't get your toe sewn back on because it's too late.
I was in A&E a day ago.
Ooh, relevant.
With a little friend of mine. He was only 18. He was drunk. He fell asleep with his leg on an electric heater, and he got a really bad burn, and it was like proper blisters and stuff.
How do you fall asleep while burning?
Because he was so drunk, he just passed out. We took him to A&E, and we were there for 4.5 hours.
Most
just like, this
most
is what you
A&E
accept,
visits
isn't
are
it?
drunk related.
Yeah.
It's a big problem for them.
Don't
but
drink.
the thing is, the NHS isn't. It's good as a concept, but it was like built with the assumption that the government in charge would always support it. So
Yeah.
if it was fully funded, it would be the best service in the world. Only problems I've ever had with the NHS are to do with understaffing or wait
which I was
times or
saying.
anything like that. But they've saved my life countless times, so I
Yeah.
can't look at it as
Yeah.
anything but a positive.
Yeah, I don't even pay for prescriptions.
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
ask. How much do drugs cost to buy?
So in England, I don't know, like in England generally prescriptions cost money now, but in Scotland
Okay.
and Wales they're still free.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're still
okay.
completely free.
Scotland and
Yeah,
Wales.
over here you pay.
I don't know
it's
about
like
Northern Ireland.
it's something like £8 to pick up a prescription. Birth control is still free.
Sure.
Birth control is still free, but if you have like a long-standing health condition like I have, you get something called a medical exemption card,
okay.
and then anything that is a prescription you get for free.
It used to be free nationwide, and then I'm pretty sure it was the Tories that were like, that's a bad idea. But Wales and Scotland, they always like, every time England goes to ruin something, Wales is like, veto! Just for us. It's really cute.
In the US specifically, I know that like sometimes you can get prescribed pills that are $70 a pill. It's just that you know it's subsidized by your insurance that you pay for or that you get with your
And
job.
actually, there is a bit of a problem with that here because there's a limit on like how much they can charge per prescription. It means that companies
It's capped.
Yeah, it's capped. So that means that some pharmacists will order in like the absolute cheapest version, and sometimes that medication like doesn't work for some people.
I didn't expect to learn so much from this video as well. I thought I knew a lot about the UK health
I have
system, but
I have my list if you want.
oh yes.
Yeah.
So Kim has gone through a lot
For
in
the,
her life.
Yeah, I was an accident-prone child. Jabs that everyone gets, MMR, tetanus. So
Oh,
it's like
except
measles,
I would
mumps,
never.
all that
I would
stuff.
never.
Oh, you would never vaccinate your
children.
children? No.
Do that.
I don't want them to live.
Dentist checkups around every 6 months my entire life until age 60.
Dentists are included?
Yes.
For children.
But you guys have that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, my appendix burst when I was 8.
Ow.
And I had open surgery and 5 nights in a hospital. 2 x-rays on the same ankle, a free ankle splint, shoe insoles for my pathetic little
I need
archless feet.
insoles. Flat feet.
Yeah, me too.
Flat
You
feet.
can get them for free.
fucking-
X-ray on my thumb when I cut it with a scalpel. I got 6 stitches for that.
Oh my
you can
gosh,
see
that
it.
I
It's
just can't
there.
imagine stitches not costing anything.
Yeah, that's crazy. Though.
That's
How
mental.
much would stitches be?
I've got stitches in
would
my
you
eye.
be able to haggle with the
No!
and be like,
Haggle?
two?
2 stitches, don't make it anymore. The cost of stitches, by the way, in the US
Yeah.
is an average of a bit over $500 per stitch. So if you've got a small thing of 3
Why
stitches...
would you not just stitch it yourself? Jesus Christ!
Well, do you know how to stitch it yourself?
No,
I'm not a sewer.
Better job than $500.
You can sew, right?
I mean, I can knit. I'm not knitting a scarf with my skin.
knit the stitch back up.
Little double yeah, it's a bit expensive, but that's why stitches, I can't imagine it being free.
I'm stressed.
Yeah, that's really stressful.
How many stitches do you have in your finger?
I had 6 here.
That's only $3,000.
I had. Let me think about it. Okay, I had 1.
Oh my god, you have a pole in your leg, so like
Oh yeah, sick.
5, 6.
over $100,000 at least. This was
7, 8,
invasive,
9.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
so
this would be
valuable,
so
Connie.
expensive.
Having a broken leg is like incredibly expensive. Without insurance, you're just done.
So, like, when you fell in that cactus, did that
No,
cost
yeah.
money to get all of the? Was it like 50 quid? Of,
So I fell in a cactus like 3 years ago in the US, and even though it was very painful and I was bleeding a lot, it was very exciting to me because I had actually just purchased health insurance. So I was very excited
nice.
that I was in the US, I bought health insurance, I should have been fine. But the hospital we went to was like, sorry, we don't accept that health insurance. And I went, what do you mean? And they went, if you want, you can go to a hospital that's like 100 miles down the road, they'll accept it. And I was like, well, I need service right now. And they're like, well, then come on in. And it costs, I think, $80 to see the doctor. And then it cost me an extra $200 for he basically had to like cut in to dig some out. And then he used tape on it. And then I also got prescribed some pain-killing stuff. And it cost $450 total for falling into a cactus. Yeah.
Would your travel insurance not have covered that?
It didn't. I also had travel insurance. None of them covered it. I even called them up to be like, I don't understand. They're like, you can't even claim it in back expenses because they couldn't. They said I had no proof that I had even gone to the US because a company booked the flights for me. And I went, I have video footage. Yeah. And they literally, nothing they did.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so thank you. Even when you get health insurance, still costs you an arm and a leg.
So you get a bill and it shows you everything that you spent.
Yes.
That's so interesting. You know how when you go to a doctor here, you see your GP and you tell them one thing that's wrong with you and you're only allowed to tell them one thing.
I didn't know that. What?
Yes, unless they're nice.
You have to book multiple appointments for multiple issues and there's signs up in the waiting room.
Wow.
And I never knew this, and every time I go to the GP I'll be like, this is wrong, oh, and this is wrong, and also this, and can you just do this? Because I'm like, I'm not going to come back.
Yeah, I don't want to go over every day. Like, geez, I don't go at all.
I think it has the highest mortality rate in Europe for cervical cancer once it reaches a certain stage. And that's because of the wait times or because we haven't put enough money into rolling out different ways to like help the public know how to diagnose it and how to like what signs to look for.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous.
Well, positive, the US, we don't really have any wait time. Flash the cash.
Yeah.
And you...
If you have...
Yeah, a guy who had his third child in the UK after having the others in the US. And he was like, it was a much more human experience because they're not...
I just forgot that having a baby costs a lot of money in the US.
Yeesh.
Like, a lot of money to have a baby if you want to have it in a hospital.
So that's like a decision you're making.
You have to make a huge financial commitment to have a baby just to birth it, yes. And that just extra days in that little baby room costs so much money.
Crazy.
Yeah, the little baby room.
Mm-hmm.
The baby room.
That's very expensive.
I always wondered about that when I watch like American sitcoms. I'm like,
do you not have a baby room?
Yeah.
You don't have a baby room.
No, like, obviously they want to keep the mum in to make sure they're okay, but other than that, you pretty much go home.
Yeah, but each day that you spend in there costs a lot of money.
Maybe I should just get Bupa. But that's what the Tories want. Bupa's like a health insurance thing. But I couldn't afford it, first of all, but that's what the Tories want. They want to starve the NHS so much that the people who can afford it get health insurance, and then we're just building up the American model. But for someone who's like got suicidal depression and they're going in looking for therapy, desperately asking, and the doctor just has to be like, no, sorry, it's horrible. What we need to do is crowdfund the NHS.
Yeah.
We do that. We pay taxes.
Aside from taxes.
I pay my tax.
It's a socialist policy, but so is schools, free public schools.
True.
That's socialist. People are like, I shouldn't pay for the education of these people. Why should... What? Come on. It's a benefit of everyone. I don't know. Healthcare, in my opinion, is something that should be everyone's, and it's sad that the US isn't like that, unless you're rich, but hopefully... I don't know, Obamacare passed. That's still a thing. They're trying to get rid of it, but it's still, giving more insurance possibilities to more people. So, I don't know.
I especially don't understand why people don't see that a lot of things are a public health concern. Like, that it would benefit you to pay into the healthcare system because if everyone's healthier, you'll be healthier.
Yeah. Hope you learned a lot today.
It's quite miserable, really.
Sad.
Thank you for watching. If you have any other stories or interesting tidbits about the NHS or healthcare system in your country, please leave in the comments.
Also, I really want to know people who are like against national health services. I'm so curious, like what...
Why?
Yeah, not in like an antagonistic way. But I would just love to hear that side because I've struggled to understand.
And if you've had good stories from the US or anywhere else, that'd be nice to hear. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week. Check out this video that's covering Kim's face. I did it the other day. It was pretty good. Yep.
Save the NHS.
You can't
Save
say
it.
Save the NHS. Save the NHS.
See you next Sunday.
Save the NHS.
I hope that saved the NHS.